Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading session. Friday? Woohoo! Hang on a second here. I'll get you my monitor. The NASDAQ just opened up and chopping around a little bit. We'll take a look here in a moment and see where they've been. So here's the NASDAQ on the Falcon from the overnight. You can see the market Euro open right around here. A little bit of a run up, a little bit of a run down, and that's it. That's all we got so far. So a fairly steady progression in the overnight, at least as far as the European market is concerned. And right now it does look like we have a little bit of a bearish flavor on the session, doesn't it? Our eagle here just about to produce a sell signal. So this bar that flipped over is our signal bar. You know what? I'm going to enter below the low here. And I don't normally like to take a signal this early. Out of the open. Can't afford that one. But sometimes with the eagle, we can get away with it. So the Eagles, the trade forecaster says here we're going to be in trend mode for about 80 minutes, so a little over an hour. We'll see whether or not that actually generates into more of a trend. Yesterday morning we were in trend mode for a while also, and the market did tail off a little bit, but not usually like what we see occur in trend mode. Normally in trend mode, the market is moving a little bit smoother, something like that. But we did get this breakout out of this little sideways trading zone, and we ended up making another sideways trading zone. All right, so that order has since retreated. We can certainly cancel that. We may have to just wait them out today, wait for them to get outside of this trading range, because the buyers and the sellers are both equally strong in this market. Here again on the Eagle, we're looking at a rule of 3 type scenario. We've only generated 2 signals against the hard edge, but we do have our test of the extreme. So the Eagle giving us a mixed bag of signals here at the moment. This price that we're at here also would be our retest of the breakout, right? So we've broken down, now we're retesting, looking for additional selling, and then perhaps getting a sell signal out of that. This is why, if we get engaged to the long side here, why I've left my stop right below the swing low, because there's a chance they're going to try to run the market down if they bounce here. Now, whether or not the sellers will be able to recover the trend, well, that's still a question that remains to be answered. hearing some scalp signals and swing signals also, so let's go take a look what's going on there. All right, here on the Raptor and the Falcon, we're both getting trend change signals. Oh, and we'll just buy into the Raptor there. And we've got comparable signal on the Falcon. So here our Raptor, we're setting up more or less in the same direction as we are with our Eagle trade, which is working not too badly so far. I'm going to move my break-even trigger just a little bit more, so it's a little bit more like 2/3 before it snaps the trade to break even. Here on the Falcon, I didn't have time to set this one up, but we have our trend change signal here in the Falcon, which you'll notice we have our up section. This is the part that has changed the trend line color. Now we have the down, the reaction off of the median line, and we've come back with our up and our signal. So that's our trend change signal. This certainly far enough along that we would have snapped the trade to break even by now. We're just hovering below our profit target. Come on, you guys, get up there. Yeah, Jim says, good morning, Eric. Wow, you entered pretty fast this morning. Yeah, I know. I hope it doesn't turn around and bite me. There was a while there where I wouldn't even come into the office for the first half hour. Just to avoid these types of scenarios. Okay, I'm getting a few questions here about the double cloud on the Raptor. This is something that we've picked up from our Raptor trading forum. Ricardo was actually the one who started using a double cloud. It's two clouds on the Raptor, one set at 8 ticks and the other set at 10. So 8 ticks and 10 ticks. And I might not be quite as masterful yet as some of the rest of you, but we're looking for bounces off of the hard edge, off of the 10 and off of the 8. So the 10 is this darker blue line, the 8 is this grayish line. Jim noted yesterday that where the clouds are intersecting and crossing over, that tends to be a good area of buying or selling support, so I'm hoping that holds in this instance also. Actually, I should be rolling my stop right below here. This is pretty much the last chance for the buyers to get their act together. In fact, I might do that. I might go with a more aggressive strategy here and force the trade. I'll keep the longer term view on the Eagle right now, but it looks like I'm going to get tapped here on the Raptor in a moment. And we'll see whether that was, if I flinched too early on that. Besides, it looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Having a double cloud on there. No, here come the sellers now. So far it looks like it was a good call to hop out of there a little bit earlier. Oh, the advanced decline almost even up. Jim says 1,339 buyers and 1,272 sellers. Oh, way to go, Jimmy. James already grabbed 20 ticks out of the YM, sold at 76, out at 55. Nicely done. Come on, you guys here. So, with the buying, I'm considering rolling my stop below this low. Well, if it doesn't automatically roll, let me get my swing high-low going. But I'd like to see this bar finish, or 2 bars in a row finish to the upside. Now, I may have missed my chance to get that stop in there. The deeper it gets, the, the less picky I'm going to be. If I get 1 bar to the upside here, that'll probably be enough for me to roll that stop. Come on, just give me this one. Well, I guess that's all they're going to give me, so I guess I'd better take it. All right, buyers. It's now or never. And all I'm doing here is I'm forcing the buyers. If the buyers cannot keep control of the market and the sellers knock them down, well then I might as well get out of this trade early. If the buyers are maintaining control of the market, we're going to make a run at this 45.18 area and hopefully overwhelm it. See, here come the sellers again. Come on, buyers. See, I could leave my stop below this swing down here, but I just don't feel like giving them that much room. All right, so they're a touch reluctant to move higher, at least for the moment. Here we come with a sell signal now on the Eagle, of all things. We are currently against our ATR, but I know that this bar, see, I'm using my logic counter. I know if this bar finishes lower, in fact, I could enter even a tick below that bar right there, that swing low. I know that if this bar finishes lower, it's going to flip the ATR over, and that will essentially make this our signal bar. So we're working on sort of a slightly messed up green bar sell. And I know I'm going to regret flip-flopping my trades like this, but this will be the last chance. We do have a little bit of a test of the extreme, a little bit of a lower swing. All right, so you see our ATR line is now flipped over. And I'm kind of looking at this from the perspective that, we tried to buy. There was very little follow through to the buy side. I don't think we've tried to sell yet. No, we haven't tried to sell yet. So here's our first sell. And we'll see whether or not the sellers are a little bit more cooperative. So I'm going to use this low here as my break-even trigger. Yeah, look at that. Still very little follow through here. I was afraid the market might end up going a little bit sideways, at least initially, but there you are. The good news is our stops are in a decent spot here. Oh, and we are working a first micro-macro cross signal. So it's an amplified view of what we're seeing on the Eagle, namely that we've had this test at the extreme. Note though how we're flip-flopping here back and forth. And now we're into yellow bars again. What a mess. Green bar sell. And now the sellers finally decide to show up, maybe. I thought I was seeing a little bit of a reaction here to that. Yikes, what a mess. So the thing to do really is just, well, wait them out the best you can. Just see which side is going to carry some momentum with it. Yeah, John says almost a head and shoulders formation on the Raptor, and I think what John is looking at it, he's looking at it like this. Here's the head. Here's the right shoulder. The problem is it's reversing itself also. So here's a bearish head and shoulders, and now here's the inverse head and shoulders forming. We're looking for that left shoulder, or pardon me, that right shoulder again. And then we've got a buying opportunity. So this flip-flopping of signals, the lack of follow-through, is what's making me believe this market is moving sideways. You saw me shoot a trend line on the other tool, so it does appear as though they're respecting this little bit of a sideways channel, at least for the time being, although I think we're going to be, oops, wrong tool. I think we're going to be more in this type of scenario. Yeah, see, here they go. They're going to run this swing high again. Come on, sellers, where are you? Okay, so a little spike in the buying here. Let's see if that turns out to be like a little buying plateau or a buying spike. was hoping to see a little buying plateau there. That would show that all the buyers' efforts were absorbed and the market might very well reverse. Yeah, like John says, a Siamese head and shoulders, where you get one up and one down. Yeah. Okay, so it looks as though we've had a little bit of a break to the upside. And now here comes that retest. Suncom says the YM seems to be behaving a little bit better. That's entirely possible. The NQ very often the more volatile of the two. Oh, way to go, Suncom. He bagged a 20-tick winner here on the Falcon. Excellent. Good job. So on the trend change, the trend line goes from red to green. We get our up, we get our down, we got our up. Well done. Well done. So we're almost back to the high. Oh, that was a Falcon for the YM, not the NQ. It made a similar pattern, however. Come on, where's that retest? You had better give me that retest or I'm going to be angry. Sunkim asks, Eric, how come you don't have an auto trader for DTS, or is it in the works? Well, a little bit of both. There is an auto trade version of DTS. It takes maybe 1 or 2 signals a day because it's non-discretionary. It's a computer. It has to analyze everything 1,000 times over, and if conditions are just right for that one trade, it will take it. Or those 2 trades, it will take it. The part of the problem with the auto trading is that people will look at their charts and they'll say, well, the market just went up here. How come the auto trader didn't buy it? Well, maybe because the auto trader saw something that didn't quite meet its programming. Whereas as a human being, you can say, oh, first micro-macro crossover signal. I'll buy that. So there's pros and cons. We get actually a lot of requests for a black box DTS. And like I said, there is a version available, or a version that has been programmed, but I don't know if Adam's ready to release it yet. And like I say, it's not that it's anything special. Well, anything special in the sense that it generates a different set of signals. It generates the same signals. It's just you don't have any control over whether or not you're going to take the signal. You're going to let the machine do it. And I don't know, there's something very Space Odyssey 2001 kind of flavor about that. It's my money. If I'm going to screw it up, I want to screw it up personally. I don't want to have a computer do it. That's my rationale. I don't know if that's a good way of thinking about it or not. At least I suppose if the computer blows up your account, you don't have to take responsibility for it. All right, back here to the retest on the Raptor. You can see we're retesting the highs here. We'll see whether or not we come out with a buy signal from that. The problem here is going to be where to enter. Where do we want to enter? I would love to see a macro pullback signal here on the Hawk. Maybe even, well, a hard edge bounce on the Eagle would be fantastic. Soybeans have kind of been hovering around this trend change signal here on the Eagle since the open. Sorry, not a trend change, but a hard edge bounce. And they're just not doing very much. You could set up your trade like so. This is a viable signal. See, could I cover it a little bit deeper even? Can I cover it up there? Nope. Can I cover it to the bend in the hard edge? Yes, I could do that. But another market that seems, well, rather sideways at the moment, doesn't it? Soybeans seem very happy at around this 915 area. It does not look like they want to stray too far. Crude oil a little bit more bullish than it has been of late. Here's crude. So a slight progression higher, nothing to get overly excited about. Making a little bit of a bounce here off of the secondary resistance level. So we've got two sideways arrows here on our hawk. We'll see whether that builds into a 4-arrow consolidation. That might be worth taking a poke at. And now the falcon with our trend line touch signal. Again, momentum seems to be waning a little bit. Yeah, Suncom says, looks like we missed that trend change signal on the falcon, same time as the YM. Yeah, absolutely, right there, that one. Oh, baby. You really gonna do that to me? All right, now we're working on a late filter entry signal. That shows a little bit more promise. So notice the late filter entry signal, the trend line does not go out of sync. However, the filter goes out of sync and comes back into sync. Let's see if we get some follow through here. The difficulty with this particular signal is covering the trade. How deep do I need to cover this position? Oh, and we did get our macro pullback and 4-arrow consolidation about the same time. So that one, I probably would have framed something like that. Here we go with the heat. Well, the advanced decline still building. We started at, what was it this morning? Pretty much even up. Now we're about a positive 600. So that's actually kind of bullish. If we could see a little bit more follow through here on the NQ, that would be very nice. Come on, get going. All right, here the soybean market is starting to do a little bit of a trend change slash late filter entry signal on the Falcon. Also, this little swing here is problematic. So even though my signal has not printed yet, I can anticipate the signal is going to print right there. However, I would feel better about shorting below that little swing low. I could cover the trade right up above there. So the signal, again, hasn't developed just yet. Oh, and it looks like it's not going to. Well, we'll hang with this one for a moment. If this bar turns red, it will keep the trend line red. something to keep an eye on. Not really a tradable signal there just yet. John says lots of news, but over now at 10 a.m. Market may be parsing it and then a move. Yeah, the thing with the news, of course, is it's all relative to what the market is anticipating. They are not playing nice today. Jim's asking, where's the YM on the support and resistance suite? Right there. Sitting on the primary resistance. We'll see whether or not we can generate a bounce out of that. Okay, put that back on the shelf. They're just tossing the heat, just back and forth, sideways, more sideways. No. So when the market starts to act like this, you're really best just sitting on your hands until you get a clear breakout and a clear move higher or lower. Where I mean you get this test retest type scenario. So these were the highs we were looking at. These were the lows. We've broken out, but we've drifted rather deep. If the buyers can't recover the trend from here, well then it's just going to get back into this trading range. Okay, here's our soybean trade. So the bars did waffle a little bit. We're back into this late filter entry signal. There's our signal. I'm going to offer up a couple of ticks and look at entering below this low, but we've currently got the lower swing high. Yeah, John's asking, was that a stop run that we just saw? You know, normally the stop, when they're running stops, we see these little spikes in our Geiger counter. This is just a steady progression, a steady waffling. See, we were very bearish here, then we got a little bit bullish, and now they're waffling back and forth. Pretty much like a sine wave, just up and down and up and down. neither side gaining control or holding control. See, we had the buyers pop it up there for a moment, and now the sellers are squashing them. All right, buyers, your last chance. You've got to hold this line. Otherwise, the sellers are going to run you over. Tony's asking, can we take a look at the crude oil chart? Absolutely, because this is getting to be painful. So here's crude oil on the Falcon, and we've got a nice little trend line working like that so far. Do we have anything we can draw on the upside? Yeah, it looks like that seems to be holding it pretty well. It appears as though crude oil is respecting this channel a little bit. Just eyeballing this somewhat, it looks like if prices continue lower, they're going to hit the primary resistance and the trend line more or less in the same region, somewhere around 42.45 to 42.50, I would say. And here now is crude oil on the Eagle. And trade forecasters saying we're in trend mode for 144 minutes, so almost 2.5 hours. The problem I'm having with crude is if you look at crude oil on the bigger scale, it's very, very much in a downtrend, very strong downtrend. And then we get these little retracements like what we're seeing here. This may just end up to be a very large bear flag. Certainly has the shape of a bear flag, more or less. In which case, if it breaks below here, it's just going to resume the trend lower. And I think I just heard them break through the lows. Yes, they did. Wow. Yeah, they're just flip-flopping on the signals here. There's no fun. Our buy signal should have had better follow-through to it. There was no reason for that signal to die like it did. Little cat and mouse game going on with the market, and I'm getting the uneasy feeling that I might be the mouse. Mark says, I'm scalping in trend mode. That doesn't make sense. Yes, I know. This isn't very trend-like, is it? We're seeing quite a bit of choppiness, so that is odd. Well, I just got a little cocky, a little too early there. We'll see what we get going on here now. It's nice when things sync up. Like yesterday, everything was syncing up. We were getting coordinating signals between all the birds. Today, not so much. Yeah, like Mark says, I'm having trouble figuring out the bias. Well, that's exactly it. We get a signal to the upside, and it fails. So that would immediately make you think, oh, there's going to be a bearish bias. So you take a sell signal to the downside, and it too fails. So we really don't have a bias at the moment. Although we are getting a little bit closer to syncing up on a signal. We've got a red bar buy here on the eagle. We've got a green bar sell, which we know we can treat as a failed signal. All right, I'm going to do that. I know I said I was going to wait, but what the heck? So I'm going to treat that as a failed signal. Here's the red bar buy, which I know is a reasonably strong signal. This bar, since we're currently against our ATR, this bar is going to end up being my signal bar. So I know it's going to finish up there. And I'm really throwing caution to the wind right now. Just living on the edge. See, and even our structure, we're not getting decent tests of the extreme. Here was a little test of the extreme to the downside. Here's the sell signal. It failed. We came back. Now we've got a buy signal. And I forget exactly how Jim always used to phrase those. I think he said, yellow bar long, long short, short long. Anyways, it's the failure of the sell signal. And so now we're getting a buy signal here in the Raptor. But again, the structure, not nearly the same as what we were looking at before. Yes, reckless abandon. That's me, Mark. You do need to be careful. Like I have the luxury of doing this here in the trading room, but there are going to be times where you incur a couple of losses and you're confused about what's going on in the marketplace. You really need to rein yourself in. I've shared this with you guys before, but I've met people who have blown up a $20,000 account, and people, plural, who have blown up a $20,000 account in a single session chasing the market around. And that's more or less what we're doing here. Except it is, like I say, syncing up a little bit better than what we have been seeing. All right, spoke too soon. Let's see if soybeans commits a little more to their direction. They're just threatening our entry now below these lows. So we have this little bounce here off the primary support, and it looks like we might be looking to breach it. Oh, not yet. One more tick. One more tick and we got it. But soybeans plodding along very slowly. We can nix some of these orders now because the conditions have totally reversed themselves again. Well, at least I played that one a little bit better. Well, it is Friday, right? Friday, you either see them get busy really early or they're going to go flat. And I think we're in one of those days where they're going flat. Take a look here on the Raptor. This is kind of interesting. You see here on our Geiger counter, we've got this little plateau in selling, this little spike. That was a lot of selling pressure the buyers just absorbed. And it's still not translating into a move higher or lower, at least not yet. If I had to pick, I would say the follow through to the upside seems to be a little bit better than follow through to the downside. Now watch the market just fall like a rock. Stupid markets. Now you're trying to get me to sell it again after I just told everybody you were looking so nice and bullish. All right, we get a chance at a second push entry on this signal. Now, the second push entry, we do this sometimes on the Falcon, very often on the Eagle, where we let the signal engage, show us its current limit of the bar, and then place our entry signal below that. So in essence, this green candle has now become our signal bar. What we're doing is we're looking for renewed momentum. If the market is truly ready to head lower after this little spike to the upside, let's see whether or not the sellers can take it back. It might take some pretty fancy footwork here to manage this trade. Way to go, Tony. I think Tony's got the right idea. And if it wasn't for the trading room, I would be doing the same. Tony says, Eric, not my kind of market today. I'm going to go play with the grandkids. Have a good weekend. You too, Tony. It's like the gambler song, right? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. This might be a folding kind of day. This might be the kind of day where we say, no, No, not my day today. See, look at that. They ticked low enough to engage the order, and here they go again. Doggone it. Somebody take out that low, that 45.11. What a stubborn price area. All right, well, let's throw that back on the shelf there. Like I said, I'm actually a little bit more bullish today than bearish, and yet they keep throwing me these sell signals. Had one here, sort of a rule of 3 on the eagle. It's really just a rule of 2, where we get the 2 breaks or the 2 signals against the hard edge, and now we're generating this test of the extreme and a possible move lower. I get this darn telemarketer phoning me every morning at the same time. I may end up resorting to my friend's methodology of dealing with telemarketers. She has a rape whistle beside the telephone. Oh, those telemarketers. Oh, baby. Okay, we're getting a little bit of follow through here on our signal, but not quite to our break-even trigger yet. We can't even get to our break-even trigger. I know. Speaking of grandkids, I'm starting to sound like my grandson when he doesn't get his own way. Come on, bar. Get down there. Here we go. Let's go. Come on. There we go. There we go. Who's your daddy now? Oh, well, that's nice of you, Michael. Michael says I sound too young to have grandkids. Well, it's just the one, and he's going to be 8 in a couple of weeks. And he wears me out when he comes for a visit. Oh my gosh. Well, you all know kids only have 2 speeds, right? On and off. So at least that trade had a slightly better result, but still not a profitable position. Still flip-flopping on the markets here. If they reverse on here now and produce a buy signal, that might actually be our best signal this morning. Because that was a serious effort on the part of the sellers to move the market lower. Problem is, the best place to buy is really above these highs. There's still a lot of room in there. A lot of room in there to waffle. Yeah. Like John says, you just bought a stucco house and you're the stuckee. Yeah, that's exactly what this day is like. No commitment one way or the other. You know, just once again, we're not getting that structure. We're not seeing these tests of the extreme and the subsequent failures. Here we're getting a possible green bar sell. Pardon me. We haven't really had the test of the extreme though, right? So you would anticipate this would send the market lower. However, the safer trade, rather than try to short it, the safer trade may actually be to set up for a buy. All right, there's a green bar sell. Let's see whether it gets low enough to find the profit target. Realistically, I'd probably set it up like that. And remember, with the green bar sells, you don't always need to trade them. You could use them just as an early warning that the trend may be starting to change direction, because they do tend to develop toward the end of a trend. All right, so we can't even hit our scalp target, at least not yet, with the green bar sell. We'll see if that develops into a first micro-macro cross. I've jumped on board enough of these early signals. We're getting a trend change signal now on the Falcon. But everything within this trading range that we've seen this morning, pardon me, is suspect. Any signal you take within here is going to be higher risk. All right, there we go, there we go, there we go. So we have a slight test of the extreme here, nothing substantial, not like what we've seen in the past. If it breaches, or if it engages us here, of course the first obstacle is going to be the primary resistance. But if it breaches there, 45.37, 38 is a very realistic target. going to do it for us, are they? All right, I just heard a scalp signal. Not quite a first micro-macro cross signal yet. We're macro line still out of sync. Just out of curiosity's sake, here's crude oil. Made a little bit of a flinch as it got near this 42.50 area. It hasn't produced a trend change signal yet, but may be doing so. What a tough bar, this current one. That is really setting the tone for the market right now. Yeah, see you, John. John's gonna jump ship too. I'm gonna close things up at the top of the hour. I have a presentation to get ready for, so I'm gonna button things up a little bit earlier today. Good time to catch up on email. Anti-aging skincare treatments. How does some of this stuff end up? I know the spam filters are pretty good, but how does some of that stuff get through? Well, they're struggling. Almost got higher, but they're still working on it. Oh boy. Oh, way to go, Mark. At least Mark pulling a few dollars out today. He says, I've been having some success today scalping on the Falcon for $60 a trade, just using the trend change signals. A weird day. Yes, it is. Ay, ay, ay. Talk about watching paint dry. Well, we're getting a first micro macro cross signal now. There's just no momentum here. There's no market participation. That's what the problem is. I think everybody's gone home. There is a chance we can see the market head higher, but it really needs to get at least above this little swing high here. We do have a macro pullback signal. Oh, it went into yellow bars. I was going to say now I'm goofing off just so that we have something to watch, but no, I think we're done. I think we're done for the day. There's really nothing going on here. So unless anybody has any questions, rather than continue this torture, I think John and Tony and the other guys have had a good idea. It's probably a good day to get out of here early. You can see there's very little follow through one way or the other. They're just going to continue thrashing things about, and I don't feel much like being part of that. So, no real questions? No? All right. We're going to button things up. If you do want to hang out for the rest of the session, I honestly believe that, as I was saying, anything within this current trading range that we're looking at is, well, suicidal is too strong a word, but maybe the thing to do is, buy the bounces. Buy when we get to the bottom end of the trading range, sell when we get to the top. That seems to be the only thing that's working out right now. Actually, the bottom of the trading range is right there. All right, you guys, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I know I'm certainly looking forward to mine. And we will see you again on Monday morning. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.